A prestigious state dinner for Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, hosted by U.S. President Joe Biden. Earlier in the day, a bilateral with Kishida.
We stand shoulder to shoulder with our allies again, because our alliances are America's greatest asset.
The president turned the bilateral partnership into a trilateral alliance the next day with Kishida and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. This week's focus was on security above the tense South China Sea with the announcement of a joint air defense network. The alliance would serve as a counterweight to China, but the president was reluctant to express that overtly.
The things we discussed today improve our cooperation and are purely about defense and readiness. It's not aimed at any one nation or a threat to the region, and it doesn't have anything to do with conflict.
Biden's trilateral summit reflects his push to work with a network of alliances with like-minded countries. This contrasts with his predecessor, President Donald Trump, who proclaimed an America First strategy and elevated personal relationships with foreign leaders over treaty alliances. This was then President Trump in 2017, welcoming Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to the White House.
We're going to have a tremendous relationship, long-term relationship of mutual benefit with Japan.
From those close associations, President Trump resurrected the idea of the Quad diplomatic summit. Cleo Pascal of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies says the U.S. is drifting away from that.
If you're looking at the Indo-Pacific, the Biden administration is, I'd say, very much focused on the Pacific part and a little bit less on the Indian Ocean part, and especially on the partnership with India.
Both Biden and Trump have employed tough rhetoric towards China. Biden once called Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator, while Trump's America First campaign frequently takes aim at China over trade.
Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us.
Pascal says that would carry over into a second Trump presidency.
I think that you would see a very focused defense of U.S. interests, but also an attempt to push China back out of zones that China has expanded into in the intervening few years. And
Pascal says that would include aggressive military actions in the South and East China Seas and a diplomatic offensive in the Pacific Islands and the Indian Ocean. Carolyn Presutti, VOA News.